Welcome everybody to the big show. I'm Chris Collins and this is Christian.
Hello everyone.
Today we're going to talk about how to reduce employee turnover and increase engagement. It's a pretty lively, if I dare say spicy conversation.
Yeah, there's a little Easter egg in what you just said there.
We talk about dating in an age gap.
Yep.
And travel, how we want to travel more. That and much, much more coming up on this edition of Service Drive Revolution. Okay, so I want to talk about travel, and I want to talk about something funny that happened with the little age gap. But first, I want to ask you a serious question.
I'm ready.
Are you really?
Yes.
Now I want you to think about this for a second, okay? Before you answer.
Eyes closed.
And the answer can't be funny.
Crap.
When you close your eyes, where are you going?
Oh, I'm here waiting for your question.
What is your favorite part of what we do? Like what we do.
Oh my gosh, there's so many really great things. I'm gonna say the
top three.
Okay. I love fixing stores and going from
to the fix,
losing money to making money specifically. Yeah.
Huh. That isn't what I thought you'd say. Okay, what's number two?
Making better humans.
Okay, explain.
Just because I think that when we give people stability and organization to their work life, they then start to let that leak into the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and it, in a sense, raises their self-esteem.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if anything, we're in the business of self-esteem in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we ever realized before.
But it's more and more apparent every day. And then
the sooner we can get especially service managers, the sooner you can manufacture a couple wins and they start to get confidence, because historically they're not open to change. Historically, they're kind of stuck in the same habits, but they want different results. And when you get them a couple wins, they start to feel better about themselves, and then they're looking for change.
The bar is so low. So few of them ever even been told thank you before. Like, yeah, it is a position that is
sad.
And my third favorite thing to do is I like to see people laugh.
You're good at that.
I would say it's, I'm pretty fortunate like that.
Yeah.
What did you think I was going to say?
I didn't know.
Oh, well, I would like to know.
That's why I asked.
Yeah. Well, usually you'll ask a question where you're headed somewhere.
This wasn't that case.
Okay. Because mostly
genuinely curious.
Yeah, you ask questions to get me to catch up to you. It's kind of fun.
This wasn't that.
Oh.
This wasn't that manipulation that I do.
What's your favorite part?
Of what we do?
Yeah.
You know how a while ago Patricia said, what is it like to have people tell you constantly how you've changed their lives? Or I forget how she worded it.
Yeah, I remember that.
But there's a weird thing that we maybe don't realize this, because it's hard to understand the stuff outside of what we're doing day to day, right? Like just our general focus in front of us.
Yeah.
But how many times have you met somebody that we have affected, and we never, we've affected them, but we've never met them? And then when we meet them, they've done all these things from our content or the on-demand or the book or whatever it is. And it's a weird thing when people are absorbing this content, but we're talking to them like we're friends of theirs, but they don't invite us over to dinner, in a sense. And so when you are affecting people in a positive way, And I think it's the thing that you were saying, like they don't get enough appreciation.
Yeah.
And so when you're trying, it's hard though, because it's a thankless industry full of a bunch of crooks.
I really believe that a lot of the people that listen to our thing know that we get it. And I think that that's probably really comforting to them.
And then I would say a close second is the Chris Collins effect.
That's fun to watch.
Like, you know how you love to make people laugh?
Yeah.
I love to watch that. I love it even more in the moment when they fight me and they don't realize that the thing they're talking about isn't even relevant. The thing that they're holding on to so dear is their excuse why they can't be successful, or they can't hire techs, or they can't, whatever it is, whatever the thing is, they genuinely in that moment believe that it's that excuse.
And they would die on the hill.
It's part of their identity.
That's right.
And then they step away, like the pressure comes off for a minute, they go home or whatever. And then they come back and they're like, you were right. Like, there's no reason to die on the hill for that.
Yeah.
Right? That thing, that Chris Collins, the telling the truth. Even though most people won't tell the truth. Like most people, how many people do you know that will tell people the truth? Most people want to be liked more than they want to tell the truth.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't.
I also think that most people because of that whole liking thing, I think there's a lot of people that aren't equipped to handle the truth.
Yeah, and they usually don't like me.
Yeah. Now that's a funny thing that Chris Collins. Don't you think that's funny, that Chris Collins effect, where I think on day one they might not like you, but they just.
And I'm okay with that.
So like the lesson is that if you're trying to get people to like you, tell the truth. Maybe they don't like you out of the gate, but the long game is that they'll like and respect you.
Yeah. You know, one time I read this book by this Harvard professor on giving speeches, you know, and I don't even think I wasn't even into chapter 2, and I looked the guy up, called his office, and it was like, how do I spend time with you? Like what? And he said, oh, I have a package. I'll write a TED Talk for you. I mean, well, I'm not doing a TED Talk, but. And so I fly out to Boston and to his office there at Harvard, and he guarantees a standing ovation.
That's a great guarantee, by the way.
Or your money back. But he says most people won't do it.
Why?
Because his formula is for 22 minutes or something. As like or maybe it's 12 minutes. I don't know, because TED Talks are 18 minutes. Like for the first quite a while, you have to kick the audience down the road. Or he's like, you got to kick the can. So you got to make them feel terrible. And most people can't do that.
Okay. And you go 4 stages beyond where the normal person would get kicked down the road. And you just keep going and going and going. Okay.
And then when you flip is when they have the aha.
Well, it's kind of like the TED Talk version of the Chris Collins effect.
Kinda, yeah. But he's like, most people won't do it. And I was like, you don't know me. It's funny, right? I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but my chick, my girlfriend, is younger than me.
There's a little bit of an age gap there, yeah.
Like 20 years or something. She's much younger than me. And sometimes things happen that are kind of funny.
Oh, this is going to be great.
We were watching a interview with this couple. The wife was telling a story about how when they went to get married, there was a 5-day waiting period for a blood test. And she says, why? Now, this couple's from the South.
Yep.
By the way. And she's like, why was there a blood test to get married? And I said, well, honey, there's parts of America where they're really worried about you marrying your cousin or sister.
Family tree must have branches.
Then I thought of you because I thought that was pretty funny.
That is good.
It falls in line with your sense of humor.
Yeah, that's right on. That's funny. I hope they pass.
Blood test.
That's great. We
don't live in one of those states.
No, Lord, no. I was on my way to work the other day. And I tried something different instead of walking to work. No, so I took a bus.
Wow.
So I'm sitting in the back of the bus. This lady gets on, and all I hear is the bus driver being like, "Oh my God, that thing is so ugly. Get to the back of the bus." And so the lady goes back, she sits next to me, and she's like, "I can't believe that guy just sat there and insulted me and picked on my babies." I'm like, "Yeah, you should go up there and give him a piece of your mind. I'll hold your aardvark." Baby in the hand was an aardvark instead of a baby. I gotta quit taking the bus.
The more shocking part of that story is that you took a bus in LA. Do you know why we built this library?
To facilitate the learning of leadership?
To dramatically decrease our travel.
I love the idea.
Home field advantage.
Right? I really believe we're going to stop traveling as much.
We are going to stop traveling.
For sure.
I hate it. I hate everything about it. I don't know. I hated it before COVID, and then now I just hate it.
Yeah. I was just stuck in what I consider the black hole of travel, DFW Airport over the weekend.
Dallas Fort Worth?
Yes, sir. I've never been there and not been delayed.
Really?
Yeah.
You think Dallas is worse than Chicago?
I do. I've been to both many times.
I've been delayed in Chicago more. Especially in the winter.
You and I together have been delayed more in Dallas than
Didn't we
Chicago.
have to spend the night in Dallas once?
Yeah, we stayed at that nice hotel.
Because we missed our connecting flight was delayed, though it wasn't Dallas.
Yeah, we were in Cincinnati.
Was that Cincinnati?
Cincinnati, and you went up to the agent and you're like, "Hey, I think we're going to miss our connecting flight." And they're like, "No, you'll be fine." And literally,
we missed our connecting.
We missed our connecting flight by a long shot, if I might add.
The person just didn't care.
They just wanted to get away from you.
Yeah. I have that effect.
Yeah. It's endearing.
Chris Collins effect.
The Chris Collins effect is that everyone wants to run.
They realized too late that the flight was delayed.
Earlier today, Chris said a really funny thing. He was looking at a picture, which is something you just have to get used to with the line of work that we're in, is that unfortunately you have to regularly look at pictures and videos of yourself. And he's like, "Oh my God, I look like I want to kill somebody."
Yeah, and that's the video they put up to sell advisor training or whatever.
Come on in.
I look like the meanest. But buy our advisor training.
No.
Yeah, it's not. Oh man, it's funny. Okay, what's in the news?
Okay, we have a recall on the news, everyone.
No.
I know you're not a gambler. Well, maybe an ex-gambler. I don't see you gambling much anymore. Who do you think the manufacturer is? Ford has recalled nearly 1 million trucks and SUVs. This is a dangerous one, folks. Missing owner's manual info. Missing owner's manual info. You ever see that before?
So can they fix this with a PDF and an email?
A sticker. It's usually a sticker that gets stuck in the back of the owner's manual, but I'm not sure exactly how they're going to do it now. I like the idea of the PDF.
That's a recall?
That's a recall. So
what does the tech get paid 0.1 to put the sticker in?
Owner's manual doesn't have instructions for adjusting and removing extra head restraints, which could increase the risk of injury if the vehicle is involved in an accident. So fun.
Interesting.
So, Ford. But that's not near as good as this. This is according to Ford Motor Executive Chairman Bill Ford.
Billy?
So Billy says, U.S. can't yet compete with China on EVs. Not possible. No one in the United States can compete with China on EVs. They develop very quickly, and they developed them in large scale, and now they're exporting them. Yep, they're not here, but they'll come here, we think, at some point.
The only place Tesla's exporting from China is Canada. They're not exporting them here because they have enough of them here.
Yep.
You want to talk about how to reduce employee turnover and increase engagement?
Okay, so my number one tip for reducing employee turnover and increasing employee engagement is don't be a stranger. It's hard to make friends from your office. So get out there, make friends, learn a little bit about the people that work for you. I think that's a huge ticket to saying I actually care about the people that work for me.
Yeah, so I think if I would just layer that into more of an organized system, like have a planned attack for how to touch your people in a way that makes them feel included, gets their feedback, but also reiterates what's important. And so some ways to do that would be to have weekly meetings where you review the numbers and any obstacles that they might have to keep them from accomplishing that, but touching them in little groups. So you could have a meeting with, let's say you had teams or lateral support. You can meet with the lateral support groups, or you can meet with a section of the shop. You can meet with the, I'd meet with the advisors almost every day.
Yes. Make sure to check with HR on proper techniques for touching your people.
Did I say touch your people?
Twice.
I didn't mean it like you think.
I just held it in too.
I meant with words and attention, not
for
with
sure.
hands.
Yeah, it's like figurative touching.
Another way to do that organized approach is to have an employee committee, which I've seen work really well, especially with technicians.
Oh, we just did that internally. We did a little committee. They got so jazzed up about it. Yeah, with the Top Dog competition. We had some coaches. With Elite Group. Remember that?
No.
So we had a committee get together to talk about how to improve the Elite Group that we have.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought
some of our coaches that were in Elite before.
Yes, and they took it very seriously. So that was a really great exercise.
Yeah. So I've seen that work really well with the techs, where there's 2 or 3 that they vote. Like, let the techs vote who their committee is. And then they meet with them, you buy them lunch or something and let them all meet, and then they present solutions. So it isn't a complaining session. It's a how do we get better? So if you present an obstacle, you have to present 2 or 3 solutions.
Yeah, if you don't set that rule, it becomes a complaining session, would be my guess.
Yeah.
That's smart.
And then you want to explain it the solutions that you present, you want to make them easy for me to say yes or no. Mm-hmm. You don't want it to be a thing that I have to go away and think about or research or whatever. So the more well thought out it is, the quicker we can get to an answer.
Yeah, so coming out of those meetings is like a defined action plan of sorts.
Yeah, and you want to be really careful that you're honest with them about why you're not going to okay something. If you're the manager that just kind of wants to be liked and you just agree, but you never actually do anything, the committee will lose its impact.
That's great.
So some sort of an organized way to touch them on a weekly basis in regards to performance and improving the system. Most of the important stuff you learn from the people on the front lines. And if you have layers in between you and that, then you're not going to be as effective.
Yeah.
If there's protocols, if the people that are helping the customers can't give you honest feedback at the top, you're never going to really know what's going on.
Yeah, so you have to be willing to hit the constructive criticism personally on your leadership head on.
The cashiers, if you have them, and the people that answer the phone and the porters know more about
everything,
what's going on and how the customers are feeling than anybody else.
Would you, on your committee, would you have term limits? Would you want to get fresh blood in there?
Maybe. I've never done it that way, but I don't know that that's a bad thing. That depends kind of on how big the shop is.
Oh, yeah.
If you have 10 techs,
you don't need to rotate everybody. Yeah,
if you have 70, it kind of rotates naturally. And
Okay.
people don't want to do it after a while too, because it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. As I was thinking of is if you're always the committee guy, you don't take it as seriously.
What is the one thing that an employee can give you that is the indicator of them attaching their job to their identity? Creativity. When somebody gives themselves, they vest themselves to try to make it better, their creativity, they are making it a part of their identity. And what's the one thing we try to keep people from doing?
Anything, we just want them to follow the system.
No creativity.
Yeah.
But people that are creative are open. They're constantly trying to improve, right?
They're creating flaming hot Cheetos at the end of the day.
But we're trying to make them closed and inside of a box.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh.
Remember that old saying? I mean, I hate it, but think outside the box.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what that's about, right?
Got it.
But creativity, we don't encourage it enough.
Yeah.
Another one that I have, how to reduce employee turnover and increase engagement, gamify.
Okay, I've got a similar one to that, but yeah.
What does gamification do?
It unifies people for a common goal.
What happens when you're playing a game? Where does it take you?
To your childhood.
Yeah, and then in your childhood it was fun.
I love that. Yeah, and I put down here using gamification and tying it to goals of what we're trying to do, and then events are a really, really big thing as a reward for the gamification. So I dig that a lot. The pizza party doesn't seem to have enough pull. It's almost people take that as there's memes and jokes about it on the internet about how the pizza party is just like the biggest I don't care about you.
On that note, doing things socially with your employees is a great way to get to know them and understand them. And if you're always working hard together but you don't have any fun together, it's not a real relationship.
I think that's probably one of the best pieces of advice I remember you gave me. It's been a few years. Yeah, it's been a long time. But I think I had said to you that, man, it's really hard to be friends with your people. And then you had said, well, I don't hire anybody I don't like. And I thought about that for a really, really long time. And I'm like, yeah, you can be friends with your people. You just have to have boundaries, right?
What do you mean by boundaries?
Let's say that we're going to have an event. We're all going to go to Topgolf and have a thing.
So us and our employees are going to Topgolf.
Yeah. So I can probably guarantee that I'm one of the first ones to leave at the end of the day. Go out, have fun, and then I'm going to sneak out and let them.
Why is that a boundary?
Moment. Because I think that you don't want to close the bar down with your people.
Sometimes having an experience with them that's a little extreme, like going until, like sometimes I've gone with people and seen the sun come up in Vegas, kind of a thing. And it's something that is bonding and that they'll remember forever.
Oh,
by the way, this is like a lot of things I'm saying won't fly for HR in certain places. So understand these are high level relationships. It's not like I'm taking a porter or, but like if you and I went to Vegas and I got you to stay up all night and have more fun than you've ever had in your life doing things that you normally wouldn't do. Like how many things have I introduced you to that you normally wouldn't do?
Dozens.
Okay, and so what effect does that have on you?
Really positive.
But for the audience, explain what that is.
Yeah, so I think that
it's creativity is one.
So
I'm encouraging creativity.
Artistic creativity is the thing I think that you try to impart on me the most. So
what do you do when you realize that artistic creativity is way closer to what we do day to day when most people think they're different?
Yes.
Explain that.
So one of the things I would say is we do all these these really, really neat things where we'll go to a museum or travel to New York and go there for a couple of days. And the thing that's never lost on me is that there's always a lesson. So coming back, I'm trying to think, okay.
Do we know the lesson when we're going there?
I think you do. I don't. Always.
I don't think I do.
Oh, okay. You just know that it's something that we need to experience.
Well, there's no way we won't learn something.
Right. But I do feel like in a lot of cases, you're going for a certain thing. Now, the outcome might be better or different than what you thought it was going to be, but I do think that you have a little bit of strategy when you're trying to curate the events. So I do think that you probably know, but I come back and I'm always like, what was a lesson and how can I attach that to our business?
But you would never on your own do that.
Nope.
And then what does that do to our relationship?
Oh, it strengthens it for sure. Like we're having adventures together.
Yeah. And so we're in New York, we're up late, we're eating meals we would never have, we're drinking, and you're doing things that you wouldn't normally do. And I'm kind of controlling you, so you can't really leave early. Right? Because I'm controlling your agenda.
That's true.
Yeah. So in that, I think that a lot of people miss that part of it. And then I'm also broadening everybody's vision of the world.
Yeah.
In a sense, right?
And I think everyone we've taken with us also gets that punchline.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's fun to watch them.
The trip we took to Chicago.
Chicago was really, really enlightening.
And nobody in a million years would guess that thing that we went to at that museum, nobody would say, oh, you're going to fly all these people, put them up in hotels and whatever that trip cost to go to that. But you can't explain that.
No, not at all.
I saw it and I couldn't explain it.
But I think it shows up in the stuff we do.
Well, it definitely had an effect on this library.
I was going to say right here is probably the biggest area where I think it got way better because we took that trip.
So if I took a group of people to Vegas and we saw the sun come up, how many times do you think people have had that happen where they stayed up and saw the sun? Like they went out all night and had a bunch of experience and then saw the sun come up, especially older people. Like maybe they did it when they were young.
I was going to say at the very least, it would be decades since they'd done it. And it was a very different reason for doing so.
So then when I do it with them when they're older, I'm kind of reminding them of that playful creativity when you were young.
Yeah.
Right?
Just like gamification. So
yeah,
that's pretty smart. That's a cool connection. All right. You might have changed my mind on that. That's good.
So how is leaving early a boundary?
I just think that it's okay for the leader to step out and let the kids play. Whereas I feel like if I stayed till the end, they would feel like they were being chaperoned. And I think it's fun for the kids for the team to kind of bond with each other too.
What do you think about when we have events at my house? Like when we had the elite group, didn't we have a boot camp at my house?
Yeah.
So they go a little long.
They do. Now, keep in mind that I haven't completely navigated this. That was the day that I did the boot camp, and it sucks the soul out of me.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't. I don't know. You should probably leave early because you've.
And I do usually.
Yeah.
Not because I'm trying to make a statement, just because I'm out of gas.
But for me, I didn't do the boot camp, and so I'm fresh. But there's a line there of too much access. But don't you think people get something out of being in my house and hanging out with me in my environment?
It was super
and even
clear.
if it goes long for me, for them, it's an experience that is going to open them up to lots of possibilities because they get to see, like they probably have no idea that I live the way I live, just in the style.
Yeah, like the art in the books. Yep, all that
music.
stuff.
The outcome of that would be that they would think that there's bigger possibilities.
Yeah, and I would say that hits.
I think it's about them. I don't think boundaries. I don't know. I just don't think about boundaries.
Yeah.
But when you say boundaries, what are you scared of?
Oh, I don't know.
You're scared of getting close to people. It's for another show. Okay. Back to the childhood trauma. There's somebody who absolutely hates when I talk about trauma with you. You want to guess who it is?
Patricia?
Roger.
Why?
I don't know. He doesn't like it.
He doesn't like that you talk to me about trauma?
He just doesn't like talking, but he's like, too much with the trauma. Which I think is funny.
It's hilarious.
But do you think that it's hitting a nerve, or do you think...
With him, maybe.
By the way, if if you're not in our group, if you're in our coaching, you definitely know who Roger is because he's an icon.
Yeah.
But if you don't, he's incredible. He's an incredible person and performer, but he doesn't like it. Caught me off guard when he said that.
But I'm not surprised. Now that we're talking about it.
The next one that you segued into a really good that I had is hire better. Oftentimes, I see managers trying to make people that are fixable something that they're never going to be.
Yep.
And it's way easier to have a bench than just bring in better people.
People are trying to tell us who they are.
And we just don't want to listen because they know how to use Reynolds and Reynolds or whatever.
They're so good at CDK.
I think another one is having a clear goal, like making the main thing, not having a million different things.
Okay.
So like, for example, the dealership I was a general manager of and the dealership that I owned, the goal was to be number one.
And everybody knew that.
Everybody knew that. And so if somebody came, what would you do if you were number one?
You would do that.
And hey, this isn't the behavior to get to number one or to maintain number one or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So having a clear vision and just making that the thing. So reducing the layers, getting out of your office, constant feedback, design a plan that has an employee council or something, encourage creativity, hire better, social situations, and one clear goal. The one that we forgot to is making deposits. 5 to 1, 10 to 1, 5 to 1. But oftentimes we're just making withdrawals with people, but we're never making deposits.
Make deposits before withdrawals. Don't overdraw the checking account. Yep.
And stuff.
That's a nice list.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. We'll see you next time on Service Drive Revolution.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of Service Drive Revolution. We're uploading new stuff every day, so make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss out. If you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show, call 8333-ASK-SDR and we'll answer your question on the show. That's 8333-ASK-SDR. For special deals on our books and training, head over to offers.chriscollinsinc.com. Now that's offers.chriscollinsinc.com. I'm Chris Collins, and I'll see you in the next video.